everyone. Welcome back to the So About That podcast. I'm here with my girls, Kimberly, and we have Parker. And today we're going to talk about being an all-in girl and what it really means to be an all-in girl.
During our brainstorming session, remember we had, it was a topic that main character energy. Mm-hmm. And then we were brainstorming that, and then it came, and I made a comment, and I was like, Simone, I loved your post about being an all-in girl.
Yeah.
So tell us, take us into this topic and this subject, but tell us about the post.
Okay, so I basically did a campaign with a wellness brand, which is right up my alley. I've been trying to go into that field. And the topic was being an all-in girl, and I really wanted to talk about how I am an all-in girl. So I do a lot of things across the board,
and you go all in.
And I go all in, and with going all in, that involves wellness, that's taking risk, that's starting new business ventures, that's trying new things, but still taking my journey, my peers and friends along with that journey, but also knowing when to take rest. So in that video, I also kind of showed myself in the sauna and also taking a walk in the park and stuff. And I think a lot of times when we think about all in, we're like, we have to go all in. There can't be any balance, and we need balance in order to balance in order to continue. So that's where the post kind of came about. It was like a whole compilation of a bunch of clips on how I'm able to be an all-in girl and how I can inspire other people to kind of take the same route and put themselves first and go really hard on whatever makes them happy.
I swear I watched that video 20 times, just back to back.
You went all in.
I was all in. It was just so motivating and empowering, and then you could see so many different sides of your life. Mm-hmm. You can go, maybe you do want to go all in on this one thing, and I think that's okay too. But you are a very layered woman. You're diverse. You're doing many different things. Multifaceted. That's such a good word. Yeah, multifaceted. So I felt like we need to talk about that. What does that look like for each of us? Yeah. What does rest look like? Kim is looking up in the air
something that I struggle with.
Yes. So then take us into that. For you, Kimberly, what does it mean to be an all-in girl, and how do you define all in? Because all in could be different from me and you, right? And resting and all those things.
That's true. For me, I think I'm still trying to figure out a healthy balance, because for me, I think being all in means you're in this rabbit hole. You are tunnel vision. You have your blinders on. You see no distractions, eyes on a prize. And that's not sustainable. That's not a healthy way of living. You can probably do that in short sprints. And I feel like I had this conversation with a friend that was like, we go through these 6-week sprints as entrepreneurs, where we go super hard for about 6 weeks. And then we need maybe a 48, 72-hour reset. And then we go back all in for 6 weeks. And it's just not sustainable. And we do need to prioritize rest and reset. So for me personally, I have 3 kids. 3 babies. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a soon-to-be 1-year-old. And then my business just turned 1. Mm-hmm. So I was building a business from the ground up while freshly out of maternity leave. So newborn at home, new business. For me, I was like, I need to go all in my business, because year 1 is make or break. You know, I feel like everyone always talks about year 1 being such an important foundational moment in your business, and it pretty much sets the tone for how the business scales thereafter. And so I literally have made the most sacrifices that I've ever made in any other aspect of my life outside of parenthood during that first year of entrepreneurship. And it just looked like if it didn't have anything related to my business or my brand, I didn't have time for it. It's not until now that I've come full circle in that 1 year that I'm like, okay, now it's time. You've earned rest, right? I don't know if this is even a healthy mindset, but I feel like I am not deserving of leisure until I earn it. And so Sam was like, for your 1 year, you should go to the spa, and I'm like, no days off. That I need to I'm constantly moving the needle and feeling like there's no time for rest. If I slow down, someone else will catch up. And but I need to catch up to myself because I will lose sight of that. So my all in looks very different than Simone's all in. Simone was at the sauna. I have not seen a sauna. My all in is going super hard at work. If it's not related to bettering my practice, like my personal Pilates practice, or doing something client building, or actually working in my business, I'm probably not doing it. And that's because in my mind, I feel like I have to go all in on my business. But I can attest to that not being healthy because I absolutely feel like I'm nearing burnout and I need to pour into me.
Yeah.
Because the cup is running low.
Ooh, that just made me tingle a little bit. Like you having that awareness that like I need to rest. But this is my all in and I'm going to continue to go all in. But in the back of my mind, I'm going to rest. That's a separate pocket. That's a separate episode that we need to have.
Maybe with a therapist.
Yes.
That would be good.
I think it's so much pressure to go all in and not prioritize rest because someone may catch up to you. But I do think like in our other episode, Shaka was like, as an entrepreneur, it's you against you. You just running against yourself.
It's true.
You running against yourself.
Also,
yeah.
And I say that so that I don't get distracted with outside elements. Yeah. And I'm like, Kim, you have to be better than your yesterday.
Yeah.
You have to be better than last week. And
I think also like,
and you have multiple businesses.
Yeah, I have multiple, but I think also I'm going into like my 9th year of being an entrepreneur, and I did exactly what you would do all the time, and I just would have. It was a cycle. It was like hard January through March, and then April. Burnout was so bad that I literally couldn't even look at a camera, and I love cameras. So it was so horrible. Like it was feelings that I've never felt before. That I was like, okay, this is not healthy. It wasn't until like 2-3 years ago, I had a therapist, my old therapist, and he kind of like helped me to like break that cycle a bit to where I kind of was forced to learn about balance. But before that, I was like, no, if I don't post this much video, if I don't do A, B, C, and D, if I don't make these wigs, if I don't, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna go back to where I came from.
I'm gonna be poor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose it all.
And I'm telling you, it was burnout. I was unhappy, and I remember I had went to Bali a couple years ago, and I had like all these videos that I wanted to plan to do. I was working with hotels and stuff, and my friend was like, "Are you really happy?" And I always just think about that question because I was like, the money's great. Like,
right, that was your answer. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just was so miserable. Like, the trip ended so different than how it started. I took off my wig and everything. I wore my natural hair. I just got into me and just felt comfortable. So it took me going there and just kind of just having that moment, like, I need to relax. Like, and I did just enjoy the last, like, day and a half of the trip.
Yeah.
But I spent the whole half of it trying to figure out how to do this, work the drone, do that, and this. And I'm like, this is too much for me.
And all it took was a day and a half.
I was only there for 5 days. I'm a crazy person. The next time I went for a month. I relaxed.
Oh, good for you. I didn't know you'd been...
Yeah, I went to Bali in 2022 for a month by myself.
Simone.
I'm jealous.
Why are we learning this on...
What?
I tried to find myself, but I did learn. All I need is 5 days. I don't need 30.
Where did you stay? What part of Bali is you? Indonesia?
I like to travel from Uluwatu and then stop in Seminyak and then end in Ubud.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was kind of like...
That sounds so dreamy.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, that was cool, but
do you think it's experiences like that now allows you understand what to go all in on, what not to go all in on because you had that experience?
Yes. And so I do find that I have less burnout moments, but they're still there, but I find that I have less burnout moments because they were bad. Like, bad. Like, I would think, I hate all of this.
This camera.
But no, I think I needed that balance, and I think that every time I try to always preach to people, like, like my mom or my aunt who just started her therapy practice, I'm like, take your Monday to yourself. If it's just one day, half a day, a couple hours, go lock yourself somewhere and just breathe for a second.
Because it's going to be there.
Yeah.
But see, and then being married and having kids and having a business, it is extremely difficult to find time to just be a little selfish.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm at a point in life where I'm like, I miss hanging out with me. I miss exploring the parts of me that interest me.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to get to know this version of Kim at this stage, and not having the time or bandwidth to do it can be frustrating. But then I tell myself that balance isn't a real thing. Like, it's just, how do you navigate within chaos? How do you acclimate to an unbalanced circumstance?
Yeah.
And you just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
You take it a day at a time.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of where I'm at. Again, I don't think it's sustainable, because I do feel like you get to a point where you're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But trying to be more mindful of those moments and those feelings and those thoughts is something that it's always top of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your all-in? What's your version look like?
Because you're like a super perfectionist, like, and you.
Let me relax my shoulders.
If it has your name on it, you want it to. You want to make sure your eyes are always dotted, your T's are always crossed.
I do, but transparent. Okay. And the conversation we had where you like calmed me down. Remember I came here that day and I was just like,
Yeah.
like I just had to like relax. Like, it's okay. But honestly, I do feel like I have not gone all in until present day, because I was held back from fear or what was comfortable. I don't know, like this sounds so, I mean, it's very appropriate, but sounds so corny, but I feel like this whole new journey for me with Pilates and wanting to pursue certain things and being very passionate about it and being so unapologetic that it doesn't fit into someone else's box. This feels like the first time that I've truly chosen to go all in, because I've just been so comfortable in the corporate world, and I'm like, oh nope, I got my sign-on bonus, I got my stocks, and I was just very comfortable, and I thought I'm doing all I can, I'm doing the best, but like there was so much more that wasn't awakening for me like it is now.
Right.
And it's like now shit is just coming in so much abundance. Things that I didn't even like verbalize, but I wanted. But I was like, no, like you can't do that. Why how can you do that? Why are you, deserving of that? So it just feels so motivating and powerful to be like, I am going all in. And there are days where I do feel burned out, and I'm like, how can I do this? And I'm like we said earlier today, we're getting everything we asked for.
Correct.
Yep.
We're getting everything we asked for, and God is being so
manifesting
rewarding.
everything
Yeah.
that we talk about.
So I'm currently in my all-in phase, and I'm really happy to be here. But it is a little intimidating. It is a little scary. There is a part of fear that I'm still navigating and being okay to say it's there, but I just have to keep going, because what other choice do I have?
Yeah.
I can go back, but I would never regress.
Yeah.
No,
We don't spin the
we're not.
block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, God. Okay, that's another podcast. That's another episode.
we don't spin the block.
Unless you're Shanti and Nelly.
Yes, but yeah. So I'm still learning, and I learned from women like you guys, and I think you need to have that in your circle. You need to have people that keep you a little uncomfortable, that keep you on your toes, and like your head in the book, and you're still learning to continue having that all in energy.
Yeah. What's one thing, the question that I had on the tip of my tongue was, what's one thing that about success that you no longer agree with? Because I feel like we're touching the topic of success and
What's one thing about success that we no longer subscribe to?
Yeah, like for me, I would say like hustle culture, because I was always, it was like Simone Hustle Culture done. Like that was like my middle name. So, I thought it would be a good question to ask, since we
I would say I tied a lot of success to money.
Okay.
And if I wasn't making the six figures that my friends were, or
Society deems you should.
exactly, then I'm not being successful.
Yeah.
And and now I realize that I'm making money, which is great, but I'm so much happier, and I have so much autonomy and way more control over how much time I give to something. So I love it. I love the money. It helps, clearly, but that is not going to drive what I do and how successful I am. It's going to be how much impact I make on clients, how much I can change bodies and, spread joy through fitness and health and wellness.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
I love that.
Same. I think that for me growing up, success has been tied to like a monetary value, or something like tangible, like material wise.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older and maybe have experienced that financial success, I've realized that having autonomy of your time, of how you spend that time, who you spend that time with, how, like, and for me, that's why being an entrepreneur has allowed me to fully show up in my like true authentic self.
Yeah.
And that is success for me.
Yeah.
Like I can do what I want and show up without having to compromise who I am, what my value are, how do I, there's no code switching involved. There's no modifying my person, like preferences. No, I am successful just being me.
Yes.
And doing something that I enjoy doing. And I feel like that is success. If you can just make it happen without putting on a front, putting on a mask, or hiding behind a wall.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And the money's good. The money's good.
Money's
We love
great.
the money,
We need the money.
Yeah.
And I would agree with both of you too. I think I always tied success to like how much money I made, and again, like we say, money is good.
Yes.
We love it. But I think what I've found is I need to be fulfilled in many different ways. And while money was, still coming in, I'm like, I just am not happy. Like, and I feel like when you
Waking up miserable.
yeah,
To go get that whatever it is.
yeah,
Ugh, so
And
yuck.
I feel like once you're at that point, it's time for you to maybe make a pivot or try something else or jump on that other side of fair to see what else is there. Because if not, it's like, it's your life. So why continue to live it the way that, God didn't have plans for you? So I don't know. I feel like I tie it to freedom. I tie it to being able to just be fulfilled in many different ways. So that's when I ended up getting into Pilates, and I was like, I love this. Like, I love when I end a session and someone's like, oh my God, I loved that class.
You made me feel so good.
Yeah, you made me feel so good. Or even how I used to, well, I still kind of am, but being a hair influencer.
Yeah.
And I meet people to this day that's like, oh my God, I learned how to do a sew-in 8 years ago. And I'm like, oh my God, Grace.
Yeah, you were able to make an impact.
Yes, and I know how it felt for me, which is why I started hair tutorials, because I didn't have the money. Like, I was going to work, and so I started doing things that I didn't see other people do on the internet, and I started doing tutorials, so I was trying to help somebody else. So in that time, that was so fulfilling to me, and it was like, I'm going to go all in, all my time is here, I need all of this, and that was success. And so it's so funny to see what my version of it is today, 9 years later.
Yeah. And I say this about you jokingly all the time, but like very dead ass. Like, you go in on anything that you're interested in, and you are successful in all of those things. Like when it comes to hair or creating content or Pilates or baking or making drinks. And I'm just like, girl, reviewing tech. And I'm just like, how do you kill it? It's a 10 across the board with everything that you touch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you are truly an all-in girl. I do want to, this does remind me of a time where Sam asked me this question, and it made me think about what success looked like for me. So that's how I really even got into Pilates. So pivoting from the tech space, I felt like the money was good, but I was burnt out. I enjoyed building and creating things from like a product development, software development standpoint, right? Designing apps, creating websites, this concept, and bringing it into something that was tangible. Love that aspect. But for me, was it a passion? Was I making an impact? Was I making a change? I didn't feel like those things were happening. So when I got pregnant and we moved, I was a stay-at-home mom for a few years because COVID happened. We were in a new city, and so it required me to just be a stay-at-home mom and support Sam. And Sam had then asked me, because I was like, I really feel like I've poured so much into my skill sets and just like my education. I love spending time with my babies, but I feel like my calling, there's more to me than just being a mom. And so he was like, okay, well, if you didn't have to think about money, what would you do? That was one of the hardest questions someone could ask me, because all my life, everything I did was tied to money.
Yeah.
And it took me months to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, because we never really think about that. And it wasn't until we were on vacation one day in Jamaica, like sitting on a balcony, and I was just like, I'm still thinking about that question you asked me maybe 3 months ago. Like, what is it that I want to do? And I think that I want to go deeper into Pilates. And these are my reasons. And if I never, and I've never been given the chance to explore what brought me the most joy, and wanting to do that full throttle just because it brought me joy. Not because it had to pay the bills, not because of anything else. And that is truly how I got into Pilates. It was a way for me to like explore that aspect of my personality that wasn't just tied to money. And that has allowed me to create the type of business that I have now, where I'm not feeling like I need to compromise quality for quantity. I didn't do this for money to begin with. Yes, the money's nice, and I'm not leaving my house for anything under, a certain dollar amount, but I'm not pressed to do something because of the monetary return it will give me. And I have a really good time doing it. And I think that I've been able to find success in doing that and still maintaining integrity with what I do.
Yeah.
Doing it that way. But yeah, the money's still good though.
Again,
we're gonna keep
to the money.
However, the money has not been the driving force behind why I've been going all in.
Yeah.
With my business.
Okay, should we do a rapid fire?
I think so.
Simone, what's scarier, taking a risk or staying in comfort? And comfort could be the perfect situation.
I'm going to say...
So again, staying in comfort, which is sometimes not a bad, like this is what I worked for. Like Kim can be like, I'm staying here. This is what I worked for. I have my brick and mortar. I'm in the best part of Atlanta, right? That's comfortable. She got it. We're here. Or she can take a risk, and whatever that risk look like, right?
Yeah.
So
I think what's scarier is staying in your comfort. Was that the? Yeah, I'm gonna say that because I've just always been a risk taker. I might take me a little while to get to the risk line.
Yeah.
But I've always been a risk taker. I'm kind of like the one that will do something out of the ordinary when like in my family or out of my friend group, and I like that about me. So I think to stay in comfort, I don't know if this is I'm not even a zodiac person, but Libra.
I've been asking signs.
You say you're not, but you ask all of us.
I don't know nothing about that sign, but what's your sign?
I swear I'm not, but I cannot do anything for too long, and with that comes taking risk, right?
Yes, I can see that is you.
Yes, and even if I am in something for a long time, I need to go to another side of it.
Yeah, another level.
Like we got wigs, I'm gonna go to braids. From braids, we're gonna go to sewing. So I need to move within that that category. So
okay.
I'm gonna take the risk, and I think comfort is scarier to stay in.
Okay.
Risk is exciting for me. It goes back to that you versus you. Am I capable of overcoming this challenge? And y'all know I was ready to go to Africa.
I know. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm moving to South Africa. She's like, what?
I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it. And when I look back, I'm gonna be so proud of myself that I even overcame it, and it just was an idea. And then when you do it, then the dreams get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like, girl.
Yeah.
You want to open up a studio in Mars? Like,
listen,
can we?
Scare you.
Right. They should.
Let's pitch it to Elon and see.
Okay, literally is what to say.
Let's not pitch it to him.
Okay,
well, I mean, he's already there, but
someone else.
I digress. I will say, I don't think it's a bad thing to either say to stay in comfort or take a risk, right? Maybe where you are is like, this is it. I went all in on this. I want to enjoy this. I think that's okay too.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a point. Like,
so me and Sam are like, I wouldn't say risk adverse, but he's more cautious. Whereas I'm the biggest dreamer in our relationship. And he's a financial advisor. So he's always
practical.
He's very calculated, very the numbers have to make sense. The math has to math. And I'm like, well, God will just make it work. But together we have very grounded, direction.
Okay.
But I kind of give him a little nudge, like this can happen. And he's like, okay, well then let's just run the numbers. And we just somehow make it happen. You need both sometimes.
I think so too. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And also, like, you work so hard, you should enjoy this.
Yeah.
And just focus on elevating this. How do you make this more intimate for clients? How do you create more community events and all those things? So I think having that balance. Okay, last question, then I'm gonna be quiet. Simone, how are you taking up space this year?
I'm taking up space in the Pilates world for sure.
Period.
I would love to take up more space. This is a loaded question. I gotta think about this one.
Okay, well,
But I'd say for sure in the Pilates world, that is my newest venture and newest obsession.
Yeah.
And I think, starting, I was very just like so scared to do
You were.
And, Kimberly has challenged me in many ways, including 2 weeks ago with my first athlete client. So
Here you go. I can't make it, but I'll be there later.
I was like, Kimberly, I cannot do that. She's like, you can't. I'm like, can Parker come? I'm like, I can't. So I think I really want to take up space in the Pilates world. I think it comes with just being confident in yourself and being confident in everything that I studied and practiced.
Yes.
And I think this year I want to go all in with it. And I, don't want to shy away from it. So that is something that's top of this year's goals.
Okay.
To go all in.
It's exciting. I'm
taking up
excited
space
for
in the
you.
Pilates world.
Test out is coming.
Yes.
Yes. Miss
You have to
Dean.
force her to schedule that. Girl, we have to push her. Remember she said she's gonna make it to the finish line, but it might just take her out. It's like we're pushing her, girl.
She gets there. She gets
I was
there.
so nervous. I'm like, but what if? And
Girl.
I finally put it in. Okay.
Yes.
I did it last Wednesday and I followed up again 2 days ago.
Okay, yes,
so.
ma'am.
Yes,
waiting
you
for a
better be on
response.
top.
Well, they're a one-man army over there. And y'all make a lot of money. Why y'all taking so long?
I know.
Miss Dean,
What was the question?
how are you taking up space this year?
Okay, so I feel like showing up very unapologetic in the wellness space. I feel like, especially making a year in the wellness space and creating something that hasn't been done before, like creating a private practice model, something that people will tend to shy away from because it's not scalable, and doing it successfully and now tapping into training professional athletes in such a large market like Atlanta, I feel like has bought me a lot of credibility, because I've been able to take up this space authentically and unapologetically. So, and now being vocal about what that experience has been like and what my perspectives are and what my opinions are in this space, because I feel like I put in the work and now I can talk a little bit, so just being on this platform, creating with you guys this podcast and allowing people to kind of hear from me, like what my perspective has been after having put in the work successfully for a year, is how I'm taking up space. Like, okay, I'm here, y'all, and I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
Either get with it or step aside.
Yeah, just
I'm not
move
going
to the
anywhere.
right a little
Excuse
bit.
me.
Thank you.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Move to the
It's only
right.
up from here.
Yeah.
Period.
Like,
We only progress from here.
yeah.
Yeah.
But how are you taking up space this year, Parker?
Telling people to move over because I belong right there. And I think what Kim said, like being vocal, I sometimes would like just kind of like shy away because I don't have these credentials or that, but like I know my expertise, I know what I know my experience and what I've been doing and what I'm learning. So I'm just going to continue to show up in the spaces that I do know that I belong in, being vocal, telling people to step aside so I can be right there with them, doing this
Build your own
podcast.
table. 'Cause
Yeah.
honestly, had I had waited to be sat at a table or invited to a table, I would not be here today.
Yeah.
And
Same.
so,
If I had waited for Max, he's gonna love his little shot. We love you, Max.
Hi, Max.
But just being vocal and like being a little like ostentatious about it, like being bold about it. But like you said, creating my table, asking for a seat, making space for me to sit at the table.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big deal for me is this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, this is it, y'all. Like, we have been talking about this. We have so much experience in this wellness space, and I our voice does matter, and people will be so happy to hear from us.
Yeah.
I think so.
So just using my voice, yeah.
You know, you guys answered the question very well. Next time, don't ask me first, maybe.
No,
I'm like, oh yeah, the podcast world, the this world, the that world. Like, but I agree with both you guys' answer. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Listen, we are all, and I think that's one of the most exciting things is that we each are going all in on Pilates, and it's at a very different journey, a different pace, at different levels. Like Kim has done everything that we've done. You've done everything that I'm done, and there'll be someone behind me and that I can help. And this is what we're going all in.
Yeah.
So
This is what it's all about. Paying
that.
it forward.
Yes.
Like, and just being able to see this all kind of come around full circle, because for me, my journey into Pilates was to inspire other like Black, brown, diverse women, men, or whatever, to I just felt like we needed to take up this space in a much more unapologetic and unauthentic way that didn't exist at the time that I was kind of delving into the space.
Yeah.
And in hopes that it would inspire other people to do the same. And whether it's just taking the class or becoming an instructor. I just felt like if they saw other people that look like them, if we see people that look like us, we start to see ourselves in those roles. And start to feel like this is actually attainable. And then to see that full circle with Simone. Like, now she started off as a client.
That story is crazy between you two.
While I was apprenticing somewhere else at another studio, and then completed my certification program, opened up my own studio. She's now an apprentice here, she's completed her certification.
Yeah.
And then she'll be an instructor. And other Black women will see her and want to do Pilates with her and want to become Pilates instructors. And then here you are starting your journey and inspiring other people. Like, this is all why.
Yeah.
This was so much more than just the money. And making that difference and making that type of impact, and then just being able to be in position to give other women the same ability to see themselves in that capacity. Like, had I not opened up the studio, where would we be?
Had you not gone all in,
Correct,
on your business, this would not have birthed.
And this is priceless.
This is your fourth child.
This is priceless.
Yeah. I fully agree.
Yay.
This was a great session, ladies.
I know, y'all. We need to do this more often.
Yes.
This is definitely the girl chat episode.
Yeah.
I need wine next time.
We got mocktails.
Hydration is
I need
important.
alcohol in mine. You know, I'm all about balance. We're going to work out in the morning, but
Yes.
we'll unwind with a glass.
That's all good. It's all about balance. That's another podcast too. That's another series episode.
Yes. So,
Until next time.
Yeah.
until next time.
I'll meet you guys here. I'll be here.